guys, Chris from Average Skate Reviews here, and today I'm going to be taking a look at the brand new Exway Atlas Pro. And of course, before we jump in, if you want real-time updates of what we're doing, where we are, what boards we have with us, what we're testing out, follow our Instagram account, or rather my Instagram account, because now Ricky has his own. The link will be down below in the video description. Now this is their 4x4 board, and it's the first board that I've ever owned that's a four-wheel drive. In this video, I kind of wanted to just give you my first impressions before I do a full-blown review. I already know what I want to say. The only reason I don't want to do the review is because I want to get really nice shots of riding around in London. Just let me know in the comments if you want it to be like that, shots across Tower Bridge, Big Ben in the background, all of that stuff, or if you don't care and you just want the information. Just comment down below and let me know. But of course, before we jump into the video, please make sure that you've thumbs up and you've also subscribed with notifications turned on so you're notified when I post new videos. And for real-time updates of what we're up to, what boards we're looking at, click down below. I say we. You're not on the channel anymore, so I can't say we anymore, can we?
Mans has left.
I'll try again. And of course, for real-time updates of what I'm up to, because if you haven't seen already, Ricky is no longer going to be on this channel. If you want to find out why, there'll be a video linked down below so you can kind of figure out what's going on with that. He'll be posting on his own separate channel. So make sure you click on the link down below in the video description to Ricky's channel so you can see all of the DIY type videos. And on this channel, it's going to be production boards, retail boards, VS'd against each other, comparisons against the older models, that kind of stuff. Now, Exway Atlas Pro. Now you guys are going to be sitting there thinking, what's he going to say because he's an Evolve fanboy? Now, straight up, the Exway Atlas Pro isn't as good as the Hadian, but let me, I'm joking. No, realistically, for the money, right now the board is priced at $1,899 US. I don't feel like there is a better board you can buy. Now that's a very bold statement, and you guys are probably going to list loads down below in the comment section, but if you're familiar with the channel, you know how we ride, what we like. That comment is very valid for anyone that kind of like agrees with our take on different boards and their performances. Now, would I like the Exway Atlas Pro to have a bamboo version? Of course, I bloody would, but that doesn't exist at the minute. But even riding the carbon version, value for money wise, like I'm blown away. The quality of the construction of the board, just the wiring setup, the actual build, the feel of it, the look of it. This board feels premium as hell when you compare it to a lot of other boards out there. Now, of course, there are other boards out there that are prettier, but for a 4x4 board, I've always thought 4x4 boards are ugly. This thing looks insanely nice. And in terms of the ride, I am more than satisfied with speed. I am more than satisfied with range. And I'm looking forward to kind of breaking down the ins and outs of what the board's performed like for me while I've been riding around. Now, of course, there are a couple of things that I'm not so happy with this board, but value for money wise, the performance you get out of this thing is unreal. It's unreal. The last board that we looked at properly with Exway was probably like the X1 Pro. There's been a couple of mid-range boards that we've seen from Exway that we've been sent and that we've been riding, messing around with, but nothing has compared to this. The quality and the jump in, just the build, the construction, the look, the appearance of the board, it's unreal. Even the unboxing experience was unbelievable. I'm stunned with where Exway are with the boards that they're manufacturing right now. I just kind of wanted to do a quick first impressions, give you a bit of feedback of what riding this board has been like. I've been riding it around my area, around Cambridge. I've taken the board to London, ripped around the city with it. I thought because it's a big clunky 4x4 board that carves like a boat, I thought that would have limited my experience and I wouldn't have had as much fun. But the torque, the top end, the speed that this board generates, it's just unreal. I'm looking forward to messing with the wheel setups, the gear setups to get even more speed out of the board. But in terms of that mark that I'm always talking about, somewhere between 31 and 32 miles an hour, this board spanks that completely. It gives me more. And of course, with Ricky riding a four-wheel drive board that's DIY'd, I need to be able to keep up with him. So that was one of the main motivations for trying to get a board like this, because it pretty much does everything I need it to do. But in the actual review, I'll break down the kind of like 2-3 things that I'd love to see them improve, and they're very minor things. So this is just to give you a heads up that the review is going to be wildly positive. There's 2-3 things that I'd love Exway to kind of improve and adapt on the board. But other than that, and of course the bamboo thing, other than that, insanely surprised. So if anyone is trying to figure out if this board is worth it, if the price reflects the quality of the board and the ride, it's unreal. It really is unreal, and I can't wait to share the full-on review with you guys. Now, the first time I really got to take the board out properly, aside from just, you know, side little streets and messing around with it for a bit, was taking the board to central London. Now, the issue with that is if anyone lives in London or you've skated in London, that city's crazy. It's a very, very big city, one of the biggest in the world, and it's congested. So you need to be on a board that you trust. But more importantly, you still want to have a good time and you don't want to be thinking about the fact that you're on a new board. The first thing I had to adjust to was seeing two clunky motors in front of me. That's the first thing that kind of really messes with your head when you're riding around, because obviously you're used to seeing the motors behind you. It kind of feels weird because like when you're turning and any movements you make with the board look like they're being exaggerated, because you can see a lot more of the board kind of turning and twisting as you're carving or riding or turning. You're not used to seeing so much, because when the motors are on the back of the board, you don't see all of that movement. But when they're in the back and the front, it was a bit of an adjustment period for myself. But kind of like riding through the city, the biggest take that I got from the board, trying to keep up with Ricky on a DIY that does 46, 47 miles an hour, I can't go out on a board that doesn't even scratch 30, 35. I need a bit more speed, and that's exactly what this did. There's opportunities in the city where the roads are really smooth, and because of the time of day that we were there and the day that we were there, parts of the city were quite dead and we could really take advantage of the big wide roads. And you don't realize it, but when you're riding around a small village or a town, 35 miles an hour, 38 miles an hour is way more than I need. But when you're in London, you're trying to keep up with the flow of traffic. Having that amount of torque and speed at, just ready for you to use whenever you need it is something that I definitely appreciated. Aside from being able to keep up with Ricky, it was being able to move quicker than the flow of traffic. Because a lot of London is 20 miles an hour, 30 miles an hour. We could go way more than that. There's cameras everywhere, speeding cameras, so cars can't, motorbikes can't, but we can. So it just freed up a lot more of the city to be able to cruise around. And because of how smooth some of the roads were and how wide they were, like when we were going across Tower Bridge, it was nice to be able to kind of push the board. And it was only a couple of occasions that I realized that I actually maxed out the speed on the board without even realizing it. But when I'm around Cambridge or Ely and I'm riding around the areas that we live, I don't ever dare go near that speed, because I feel like that's a little bit too much for myself. But in London, it was completely normal. It felt like I was just riding a board and cruising. It's only when I looked down at the remote, I was like, holy crap, I'm going fast. But my overall experience with taking this board out into the city was a lot more pleasant than I thought it was going to be. It being significantly longer than the boards I ride, it having more weight, two motors on the front, two motors on the back, I thought I would have a difficult time kind of maneuvering around traffic, around the city, but it was surprisingly easy. The only thing that I'd obviously like to see is the bamboo deck. I'm probably going to put bigger wheels on it because I feel like 6-inch isn't big enough. And obviously the power that this board generates, 7-inch with a couple of tweaks to the gear setups, will probably get me going even faster than what I've got now. And if you're wondering, I'm not going to keep it a secret. The top speed that I've been able to get out of the board thus far is about 37, 38 miles an hour. So what they advertise on the website in terms of speed and range is incredibly close. And bearing in mind, we don't ride slow. But first impressions of the Exway Atlas Pro have been phenomenal. As always, guys, a big thank you for watching all the way to the end. Make sure you comment down below and let me know if you want me to just drop the review video or you want to wait for the pretty shots in London. If you've got any questions or anything you want me to touch on in the review video, please comment down below so I can go into a little bit more detail about the mechanics of how the board works, two-wheel drive versus four-wheel drive, how it compares to some of the other boards that that we have and we've been riding. All of that can be answered in the review, but comment down below, let me know what you want to see. Thumbs up, subscribe, so you can stay up to date with all of the videos that we post. And my Instagram handle is going to be down below if you want real-time updates of what we get up to, what boards we have, and what content's going to be coming. Thank you very much, guys, and take care till next time.